What's going on, guys? This is the Brigade once again, and we're back at it for another session of Killzone Shadowfall. Alright guys, we are back at it for another 12v12 map. Right, and ever since Guerrilla Games created that 12v12 template, I haven't really been playing the 7v7 standard template Warzone anymore. Right, I mean the 7v7s are cool, and I think they are ideal for a lot of the brand new players, specifically those who may be new to either first person shooters or new to Killzone Shadowfall, because right, when you start off with the 7v7s, at least you get a feel for the game, you get an idea as to how the missions go, how you should respond, and how you should approach them. Whereas the 12v12s, they are so hectic in a lot of cases that it could be overwhelming, especially for someone who's new to Shadowfall, and especially new to first-person shooters. Alright, so this particular mission is called Capture and Connect, and it's one of those missions where they have like these points that we have to capture. We have to sit here and wait until the beacon turns green in our favor, and then we just run to the next. Now if you guys notice in the upper middle portion, there's like a A through Echo, right, and those are the points that we have to connect. Now you'll notice that there are a few of us who are going after the objectives, whereas there are a lot of other guys who simply trying to get kills. But see, you know, me personally, I go after objectives. You can actually get a lot of points through gaining these objectives. Alright, so it looks like the next mission is the beacon theft, and it's basically a situation wherein we have to like the game will go ahead and randomly place a beacon. We have to go ahead and find it, we have to steal it, and we have to basically bring it to a touchdown point. Right, so missions such as this one, or maybe the previous mission, if you guys will notice, I'm playing the support class as always, and I even have the spawn beacon as an ability. But it doesn't really make sense to go ahead and lay a spawn beacon because for the most part these two missions is a lot of running and gunning. They're not really stationary missions such as capture and hold, right, or search and destroy, either attack or defend. So since they are not stationary missions, there's really not a point. Now I'm not saying it's useless to place a spawn beacon, but you don't necessarily have to, right, because for the most part your team, or at least the guys who want to pursue missions, are going to be on the go. So there's not necessarily strategic placement that you have to keep in mind. Right, but you know, every now and then, depending upon how the missions rotate, I will go ahead and place them just so the guys don't have to go all the way from the base to wherever it is they're trying to run. Now keep in mind, as a support, I'm still sort of in the background. Now I will go after my kills, as I've mentioned in the past. I will go after my kills, but I'm sort of in the background, right, because a lot of these guys, they actually try to pigeonhole themselves, and whenever I see someone pigeonholing, I basically just stand back and set back for revives, because whenever you see a group of guys just sitting back and pigeonholing, it's only a matter of time before one person throw a grenade and they kill like everybody in that pigeonhole. So if you guys notice, I'm just kind of sitting here. There's a door right here to the front, so I'm just going to go ahead and lay down my turret. And actually, that wasn't a turret, that was a spawn beacon. Now this guy right here, he placed this turret in the perfect location, because placing it right there prevents anyone from trying to flank, at least from that direction. Now you guys might see a little later on, once I see that, I try to go on an opposite direction so that I can deactivate that emplacement turret. And if I'm able to deactivate it, then more of my team is able to flank, or at least approach from that direction. Right, so that's a lot of my tactics. Alright, so it looks like we are still doing, okay, so we're still doing the beacon theft. and actually I am playing the role of the VSA. The direction that I place my turret kind of faces where the hell gas come down, right? Because that's their home base and that's the stairwell. So as soon as they come down, they should be met with my turret, and you guys are going to notice I'm going to be getting some kills because my in-place ground turret will be taking care of business. Alright, so let's just see what we got going on. I'm not really going after the turrets with the turret theft. Now I do participate in a lot of the well, actually beacon theft. I'm saying turret theft. I don't really mess around with the beacon theft. I do kind of mess around with the actually there's a few beacon missions. There's like a beacon theft. There's like a it's like one of those things where like you take it and you have to just drop it at a certain point. I forget the name of that mission, but I think there's a total of 12 mission types, either 10 or 12. I don't really have the list in front of me. And you know, when it comes to Warzone customization, you can choose from either of the 10, right? You can deactivate some. You can only concentrate on 1 or 2, or you know, if that's kind of like what you want to do. Like if you have 2 or 3 favorites, you can just use you can actually turn off the other 7 and just continue with the 2 or 3 that you like. So the Warzone customization are also awesome, and I think is a good addition because, you know, one thing going from Killzone 2 to Killzone 3, Killzone 2 had a lot of personal customization, whereas Killzone 3 did not, and a lot of people did not like that they basically took that step backwards. Right, so it looked like Guerrilla Games paid attention to a lot of our feedback, and they returned with the Warzone customization, and I think is a great addition to the Killzone Shadowfall franchise. Alright, so what are we doing right now? Looks like we're doing Search and Destroy Defend. So for a lot of you guys who are not familiar, we have to defend a certain position. So seeing that we have to defend, basically what I'm looking for, a good place to set up my turret, right? And another thing that I'm going to pay attention to in between deaths is if someone have placed a spawn beacon at or near at least one of the objectives. And in most cases, if I notice that out of all of our team that no one has placed a spawn beacon, a lot of times I'll just go ahead and switch my abilities from the turret to the spawn beacon carrier so that I can get some good placement on these objectives, which would increase our likeliness to win. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and throw, that's their home base. So I look like I got a couple kills up there. And unfortunately, it doesn't appear as though I have a support guy near me, so it looks like I'm going to go ahead and die. Now looking on the map, doesn't really look like we have someone who may have placed a spawn beacon, but you know, if the next time I die I notice that we don't, I might change. You know, it just kind of depends how I'm feeling. You know, sometimes I'll change my abilities based upon the missions. Other time I'll just stick with what I got. Right, it just kind of is what it is. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and revive my fallen teammate so we can get more boots on the ground. Right, because the more people that you revive, especially when you don't have a spawn beacon in place, that's less people who have to run all the way from the base to help out the team. Right, they're right there back in action. And you know, that's another thing that I really like about the support class. And actually, it's kind of ironic that I'm playing this role because back in Killzone 3, I actually played the engineer and the infiltrator all the time. Seeing that the primary duties of the support class is to revive, you know, you would kind of think that my playstyle would have had me play as a medic in Killzone 3. Okay, so that's a nice flank right there. You guys notice I saw where all the action is, so I'm coming around to get some extra kills and to try to get rid of their spawn beacon. And we're good to go. Go ahead and revive a few guys. And like I said before, flanking is really important. Not only in Killzone Shadowfall, but also in other first-person shooters. Mainly because there's a situation wherein your opposition is focusing their energies or their fires in one direction, and you're basically just taking them by surprise and approaching from, you know, the rear, the right, or the left, and they don't really expect it. So if they don't expect it, in a lot of cases, you guys will get some extra kills. And you know, once again, if you guys are familiar with first-person shooters, I'm pretty sure you would know that. But for a lot of guys who may be new to first-person shooters or new to Killzone in particular, we're just going to talk about a lot of randomness that will hopefully make your Killzone Shuttlefall multiplayer experience a lot better. Now, with regard to flanking, this is another reason why I cannot wait until they create the in-game chat as well as the clans, right? Because once we get the capabilities to create a clan, you'll be able to communicate with your clan members. You may be able to say, hey, listen, dude, this guy is on the outside, flank from this direction, or this guy is over here, drop a spawn beacon in that direction, or this is what they're doing, switch your tactics accordingly. And I think it's going to be great. I really can't wait. Alright, so it looks like we are still doing you guys notice I'm pulling up my spawn beacon, and the reason why is because it's time for us to change locations. We did search and destroy defend, right, and it looks as though one of the objectives were blown up, it appears. I can't really tell, but I think it was. So like I said before, it doesn't really make sense for me to go ahead and maintain my spawn beacon there when the objective is on the other side. So in between now and the next objective, I just go ahead, deconstruct it, get rid of it, and then I will take it over to another location. And actually, now that I'm looking at the screen, I can't really tell if that was my own spawn beacon that I deconstructed or if it was the opposing teams. But even if it was my own, I keep the spawn beacon at the objective, and when the objective shifts, I get rid of it, because like I said before, it's all about strategic placement. So it doesn't really make sense to have your team continuing to spawn in one location when the objective locations have switched. Alright, so it looks like we're now doing search and destroy attack. So now we are attacking, and I'm going to go ahead and place my turret up here, because hopefully it would be able to, alright, so we got a good kill with my turret right there. Hopefully it would be able to shoot down. Now, I don't really, like I said before, I'm going to have to experiment a lot more with the turrets, because I do know, at least in Killzone 3, I mean, those turrets were shooting any direction, straight up, down, everywhere, and you were good to go. Killzone Shuttlefall, I'm still trying to experimenting, so I place it up there, and I basically just kind of sit back to see if I got some kills, to notice if the elevation was a little too high, or, you know, was it able to zone at that distance? I'm not really sure. So we'll see. And it looks like these guys have a spawn beacon over here, because if you guys notice, they are deep. They are definitely deep on that side of the map. But it's all good. Alright, so that is pretty much it. And I think this is the last and determining mission. Yeah, this is 3. So once we win 4, I think that will be it. So you guys can go ahead and check out the rest of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the commentary. And until next time, Martyrs Brigade is out.
battle is won, but the war is not over.